Welcome to The Pillars, the podcast of the 363rd ISR Wing of the United States Air Force. I'm Chaplain Jim Bridgham.
And I'm Sergeant Ackerberg.
And our special guest from the 51st Intelligence Squadron,
Master Sergeant Andre Booker.
On each episode of The Pillars, we find a brief resilience topic so you can practically fix any potential roadblocks you encounter and finish a better wingman, airman, and leader. Now, in our first 4 episodes, and this is the second one of 2018, we've designed them to help you have a new year and a new you. So we're going to give you 1 or 2 actionable points for each of the 4 pillars. So we chose to wait a little bit to start these podcasts because most people set resolutions and most of them aren't even in effect now. Usually they last about 5 to 10 days from the first, and then they kind of fall apart. So we wanted to give you some easy, actionable things to help you set goals and make them happen. But we want to make it easy.
We're going to talk about spirituality as the second pillar that's important to discuss.
And our focus here is going to be on mindfulness. So in this, we're going to provide a companion download, which will be about a 10-minute approximate meditation for you to listen to. So here's a quick story for you. Last year, I went to a program called Search Inside Yourself, and that's the training that Google gives for mindfulness. So that's the training to just teach people how to become mindful in their day or practice meditation. And I went there, I really did expect to get the keys to the universe. I mean, it's Google, it's how they do everything. And so I sit there and they say, the first step is to breathe. Breathe. And I've got my notebook open, got my workbook, I'm like, got it, breathe. So I write down breathe. And then they go, step 2, you're going to get distracted. Okay, got it. So I'm writing down furiously, get distracted. And if you've ever practiced meditation, you're going to get distracted. If you close your eyes, focus on your breath, pretty soon some thoughts will come in your mind. You'll think that you need to do laundry or about your kids, your work environment. They said step 3 is acknowledge or notice that distraction. So again, you've started breathing, you get distracted. The third step, just notice the distraction. So in this case, if I'm breathing and I'm quiet and I'm in a chair, eyes closed, and I think about needing to do laundry, I acknowledge a thought and I say, I'm thinking about laundry. That's it. And then step 4, the final step in their process is to return to breath. So again, you breathe, quiet place, you sit, get distracted, you notice the distraction, just acknowledging it, and just return to breath. And I really thought, I was so disappointed. I thought this was going to be so much more complicated. But this practice, however simple it is, just breathing, getting distracted, noticing, and returning to breath, provides so many benefits. And what are those spiritual benefits that are actually physiological? It increases your attention span, it increases your immunity and fights diseases, it improves your metabolism and gives a good night's sleep, it can improve brain functioning, and it actually makes you happier. It gives you a sense of connection with others, and it helps you appreciate life more. So there are so many real benefits. In fact, it can reduce aging to this process. And it doesn't take long. To actually do a meditation, you're talking 1 to 3 minutes, and to have these kind of effects.
And so some of the early podcasts we talked about with, I think, stress management was the aspect of proper breathing. Some people call it diaphragmatic breathing, but when you're really sitting there and you're meditating, think about your breath. And so you can take big, deep inhale. Make sure you're pooching out your tummy. We don't want shallow breaths in the chest. We want you to really take a deep breath, maybe count to 3 or 4, and then hold it at the top, just so you get that proper oxygen exchange in your system. And so you want to make sure that you're oxygenating, and so you get that release, you exhale, and then you can think a little clearer and you can focus and you'll feel better because you're actually triggering the relax response and you're decreasing the stress response.
Now, if you have a hard time with just sitting and being still and focusing on your breath, I get it. It's hard at first, and it is a discipline, takes some time. But a good way to start is going to a yoga class. Now, almost every base is going to offer some kind of yoga class, and it's a moving meditation. And if you can't get to one of those, to a class in your fitness center, you can download something off YouTube and give it a go. But focusing on those movements can also provide the same physiological benefits that you'd receive by just sitting there and being mindful. The next thing I wanted to say is for a core human need. So a core human need, although there's 6 of them, we'll address one. It's called uncertainty or variety. We all need variety. We all need a little bit of uncertainty in our life. Now, we like the uncertainty that we can control. Uncertainty we can't control are called problems. or taskers on Friday afternoon. But for this uncertainty, right? So if you are in a spiritual practice and you maybe do mindfulness, you maybe do meditation, you attend some kind of religious service, try something different. So if you're attending a church and it's a liturgical church, well, try going to one that isn't. Maybe you don't, so try a chapel service, a synagogue or mosque. Try something out there to attend, to do something different. For meditation specifically, we'll recommend trying to do it in your bookends of your day. Now, we spoke about this in the last podcast, but that's the time of the day that you can control. Just like bookends to hold books up on your bookshelf, you can really control that time in your Air Force life. That's the time you wake up, that first maybe hour you wake up, and that last hour before bed. Trying to incorporate this in either one of those times is almost the easiest way to incorporate it. How I do it, I spend about 15 to 20 minutes every morning doing meditation. I now get up at 4 a.m. I got up at 4:20 before, and I use an app to do it. Now, we won't endorse any apps on this podcast because we can't. But what I use to get some headspace is an app on my phone. You may need to feel more calm, and you could look for that kind of an app too. What we'll say is that there are tons of meditation apps on your phone. There's also some DoD ones.
Yes, you can actually Google search or any search, just DoD apps, and they do provide some pretty good quality apps that can track sleep, your rest cycle. It can talk about breathing, which is also meditation. It can talk about triggering any type of anxiety. There's relaxed responses you can initiate. They have music. You can connect to your music. They have videos. They have guided meditation. So really take a look. There's a good variety. They're free. You just download them. And then if you don't like them, you just delete them. Try something different. So another thing that I like to do is I don't smoke, but I do like to take smoke breaks. I think that they're a smartly designed way for people to go and get away from taking, work and taking it with you. So what I do is my smoke break consists of me actually leaving the building. I go outside. I like to see some sunlight. Not every day do we get to see sunlight. We come in darkness. We leave in darkness. So getting that sunlight and then just breathing, taking in a deep breath, maybe fresh air, maybe taking a friend with you, go talk. Spending that time by myself to just breathe or with somebody, decompress, reset, then I can go back in and pick up the task that I had just left off.
Breathing, first thing, one thing that I like to do first thing in the morning, I wake up a little earlier than normal people, so I get up at 4:30. I put my clothes on and I walk outside, and I like that smell of that fresh dew off of the grass, and the stars are still out and the sun is just peaking. And so I'm just walking around, breathing, meditating, talking to my form of my God, and just taking in the day and just breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And I feel so much better and lively when I walk back in, and I'm like, okay, wow, I'm ready to get my day started. And I've noticed since I've started doing that, since the beginning of the year, we're only a few days into the year, but my day just flows more smoother. And then once I find myself, getting sucked into the turmoil of the day, I'll just stop, pause, and go back to that breathing technique, breathing in. Granted, there's a lot of traffic noise and the dew and the morning smell is not out there, but guess what? I resort back to that breathing technique, and I just feel a whole lot better after I take, i.e., my form of a smoke break, and I just feel better after that 5 to 10 20-minute break.
And that term, there's actually a term for that in Asia and specifically Japan. They have a practice called forest bathing, where you go outside and just bathe in the forest. And that's why a lot of urban areas will have a forested area in Japan or in parts of Asia. And there's marked benefits that have been studied of that, going outside and just being in nature. And oftentimes the only time we can do that, again, the bookends of the day, when you wake up or in the evening. But finding that time is key. So what we went over today, again, doing some kind of meditation, some kind of mindfulness in your day, really focusing on your breath and incorporating that spiritual pillar. Now, there are so many ways to do this. In fact, Arnold Schwarzenegger does it as part of his workout in the gym, which would be the physical pillar interlaced with this. He actually feels like he enters into the muscle as he's working out, which is pretty impressive for him. It's the former governor of California. The bottom line is doing this as part of your day will improve many aspects of your life. So we're going to encourage you to do it in the new year. So we want to thank you for listening to The Pillars, the podcast of the 363rd ISR Wing of the United States Air Force. I'm Chaplain Jim Bridgham.
I'm Sergeant Ackerberg.
I'm Master Sergeant Booker.
Until next time, if you need us, please reach out to us in the global address list. Finally, thank you for what you do for our nation. Have a great day.